I want to ask you something real, and I need you to be honest, even if it's just with yourself. How often do you feel like your focus is slipping away? Like you sit down with good intentions, to build your dream life, to get work done, to make progress, and yet you end up wasting hours, not because you're lazy, but because something invisible keeps pulling you off course. You sit down to grind. 5 minutes in, your phone buzzes. You check one notification. Then you're scrolling. Instagram, TikTok. You promise yourself just one video, then another. Before you know it, 2 hours are gone, and all you've done is consume content you'll forget tomorrow. And here's the uncomfortable truth. It's not just about the time lost. It's about what's stealing your focus in the first place. Our minds, our attention spans, are being hijacked, and most of us don't even realize it. We've become addicted to instant gratification, to the constant flood of sexualized content, to the endless noise. And the worst part, we didn't even choose it. These habits snuck in, quietly, until they became our default. My wake-up call was when I realized my brain wasn't working for me anymore. It was working against me. And if you've ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself, why can't I stop wasting time? Why can't I stay focused? Then you know what I'm talking about. You're not alone. You're just living in a world your brain wasn't built for. See, 100 years ago, people had to seek out stimulation. They had to go find information, travel for experiences, meet people in person. Today, we're surrounded by it. Every ad, every scroll, every notification is designed to light up one thing in your brain: dopamine, the feel-good chemical. And in moderation, it's fine. But these platforms have weaponized it. They've turned our pleasure system into a trap. Every time you scroll, like, click, or double tap, your brain gets a little hit. Over time, that constant stimulation rewires your brain. You start to crave cheap dopamine. You lose patience. You lose drive. You lose the ability to focus on what actually matters: your goals, your growth, your relationships. After that failed pitch, I started tracking my habits. I noticed how often I reached for my phone the second I felt stressed or bored. I saw how much time I was wasting on social media that didn't serve me or my purpose. And I saw how disconnected I was from my vision, from my loved ones, even from myself. That's when I had to ask the hard questions. Why am I giving my time to things that make me feel worse? Why am I allowing my focus, my brain, my life to be hijacked? Here's what I learned. If your brain can be rewired to work against you, it can be rewired to work for you. And that changed everything. Picture this: waking up with a clear head, sitting down to work and getting into deep flow, talking to someone and actually being there, not distracted, not anxious, just present. That isn't a fantasy. That's what happens when you take control of your inputs and retrain your mind. And I want to show you how I did it. It all starts with 3 simple shifts: reclaim, retrain, and redefine. First, you have to reclaim what's going into your mind. Your brain is like soil. What you plant in it determines what grows. If you keep feeding it sexual content, distractions, noise, you'll grow weeds. But if you feed it inspiration, wisdom, and clarity, you'll grow strength. So start small. Audit your social media. Unfollow one account that's dragging you down. Replace it with someone who lifts you up. Maybe a fitness mentor, a business leader, someone who shares value instead of vanity. At first it'll feel weird. You'll crave the old stuff. But every time you resist, you're rewiring your brain to crave better. Second, retrain your focus. This is the muscle we've forgotten how to use, and the most powerful tool I've found: meditation. Yeah, I used to roll my eyes at it too. But meditation isn't about sitting cross-legged in silence for an hour. It's about learning to pause, to breathe, to pull your mind back when it drifts. Start with 5 minutes a day. Focus on your breath. And when your mind starts to wander, and it will, gently bring it back. You're not failing. You're training. And with time, your focus will return like a muscle regrowing after injury. Let us know in the comments how you approach your day to stay focused. Third, you need to redefine your purpose. You need a why so strong that it cuts through any distraction. What are you really working for? Is it freedom, fulfillment, legacy? Whatever it is, write it down. Put it somewhere you'll see it daily. Because when you're tempted to fall back into old habits, you need something bigger to anchor you. Something real. Something that reminds you of the future you're building. But there's one more piece to this that most people overlook. The environment you exist in every day. You can have the strongest willpower, the clearest goals, and the best intentions. But if you're constantly surrounded by digital noise, negative people, or draining habits, your mind will eventually slip. Think about it. If you're trying to stay sober, would you hang out in a bar every night? If you want to build a healthy body, would you keep junk food stacked on every shelf in your kitchen? It's the same with your focus, your energy, your direction in life. You become what you're exposed to the most. The environment around you isn't just physical. It's digital, emotional, and spiritual. It's the media you consume, the conversations you entertain, and even the way you speak to yourself when no one's listening. And here's the truth. When you clean your environment, you cleanse your mind. That means deleting apps that are designed to distract you, distancing yourself from people who constantly gossip or complain, and replacing them with spaces and routines that encourage growth. Start your mornings in silence or prayer instead of diving into your notifications. Surround yourself with people who talk about ideas, not just people. Fill your space with books, tools, music, and symbols that remind you of the person you're becoming. Even the smallest environmental changes have a compounding effect, like turning off autoplay, like keeping your phone in another room when you're working, like creating a playlist that gets you into a deep work state. These shifts aren't dramatic, but they change the atmosphere of your life. Because ultimately, you're not just fighting distraction. You're building a reality that supports your higher self. One where you're not constantly reacting, but intentionally creating. And when your environment aligns with your values, focus becomes effortless. You no longer have to force discipline. It becomes your default. That's how lasting change happens. Not through a burst of motivation, but through a system that reinforces who you truly are. So don't just fix your habits. Upgrade your entire ecosystem. Your brain, your focus, your dreams, they all depend on it. You have the power to design a life that pulls you forward, not one that holds you back. And once you do, you won't just be avoiding distractions, you'll be fully alive. If anything I said hit home, then start right now. Just one action. Unfollow a toxic account. Meditate for 5 minutes. Write down your why. These are small steps, but they lead to massive transformation. Because this isn't just about getting your focus back. It's about taking your life back. Your brain is your greatest asset. Protect it. Train it. Own it. Your future self will thank you. If you made it until here, leave a crown emoji in the comments. I want to see how many of you reach the end and are truly willing to finish what they start. Remember, live with honor or die a coward. Thank you so much for watching. Take care and stay strong.